Joanna Jędrzejczyk has helped redefine women's MMA. During her time at UFC, she defended the Strawweight championship 6 times until she ran into Rose Namajunas. So, how did her old rival react to the news that she was retiring from the sport? Plus, why is championship contender Weili Zhang training at a facility in Thailand? Find out all that and more MMA news coming up next. First up, the Jędrzejczyk and Namajunas rivalry. When Joanna Jedrzejczyk joined the UFC in 2014, she was already an established fighter. As a professional Muay Thai fighter, she had won 5 world championships, and it didn't take her long for her to move up the ladder in the UFC. After 2 wins, she was matched up against newly crowned Strawweight champion Carla Esparza, who had just defeated Rose Namajunas. But if there were any doubts about Jedrzejczyk, she just put them to rest there, when she knocked out Esparza in the 2nd round to become champion. At her peak, Dana White described Jedrzejczyk as the best female fighter on earth. Her striking, footwork, and movement have been compared to MMA greats like Jose Aldo. She defended that title for more than 2 years against 5 opponents, building up to her fight against Rose Namajunas, who had climbed her way back up to a title shot. And before their hotly anticipated showdown, the two developed a bitter rivalry. Jedrzejczyk did a lot of trash talking, while Namajunas appeared to stay focused. And that focus paid off when the American knocked out Jedrzejczyk in one of the most exciting UFC title fights of all time. It was Jedrzejczyk's first MMA loss, and she was given one more chance to reclaim the belt in a rematch, and it went down to the wire. It was a 5-round all-out war that ended in a decision win for Namajunas, but they both clearly had a lot of respect for each other by the end of it. Moving on to other things. Jedrzejczyk had been competing in fighting since she was 16. It started with kickboxing before moving on to Muay Thai and MMA. That's 20 years in the fight game, and she said that she's now ready to move on to other things. Her last fight was a 2nd straight loss to Strawweight champion Zhang Weili at UFC 276 in front of a packed Singapore crowd. Jedrzejczyk revealed that it would be her last time in the octagon. She thanked everyone in the UFC and said, "I'm turning 35 this year, I want to be a mom, I want to be a businesswoman." When Rose Namajunas heard about the retirement, she had some kind words for her former rival. She told the media that Jedrzejczyk had helped women's MMA a lot, and that she set the standard for Namajunas to aim for. Namajunas went on to wish her happiness in life and congratulated her on an amazing career. As for the American, she isn't done fighting just yet. At 30 years old, she still has a few years ahead of her. At UFC 274 earlier this year, she lost the Strawweight title to Carla Esparza by split decision. But Namajunas will have to hang on a little later until she gets the chance to reclaim the belt. Esparza's next fight has been announced against former champ Weili Zhang. Zhang was on a 21-fight win streak before losing to Namajunas and is looking to find her form again, especially after winning Fight of the Year for her victory over Jedrzejczyk. Next, living it up. In her first interview since retiring, Joanna Jędrzejczyk opened up about what the tipping point was for her deciding to call it quits. She said that it was the best shape she had ever felt going into her fight against Zhang. Her training, preparation, and execution were pretty flawless, but midway through the 2nd round, she was caught with a spinning back fist that sent her tumbling to the floor. She said that it was only after that finish that she decided to retire. After 2 decades in the sport, Jedrzejczyk wanted to make sure that she didn't seriously hurt herself before the curtains closed. She said, "I don't want to waste myself. I don't want to be this legend who is going to fight forever and get beat up." A big part of that was that she felt how hard she worked before the fight, but still fell short of the mark. Fighting is unpredictable and her moment may have passed, but her retirement was a shock to everyone, including Dana White. She had just signed a new deal with the promotion, but the way the Zhang fight ended left her with a bad feeling. Dana has guaranteed her a spot in history, confirming that she would be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame soon. Now she's finally enjoying some well-deserved time off. She has already been jet-setting to Las Vegas, Thailand, London, and even dropped in on a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Time to put her feet up, and not just to kick people's faces. Up next, how does Carla Esparza match up against Weili Zhang? And how could Zhang's training location give her the edge? So don't go anywhere. Now, Carla Esparza versus Weili Zhang. Sometimes holding the championship belt just isn't enough in MMA. Carla Esparza will be facing Weili Zhang at UFC 281 to defend the title for the first time in her career. Esparza was actually the first female fighter to win the belt back in 2014 when the strawweight division opened up. She defeated Rose Namajunas with a submission to become champion. But the glory didn't last long. Since then, it's taken her 12 fights to win back the title, but bookies don't have much faith in her keeping it. She is opening as a big underdog to Weili Zhang. She shouldn't be fazed though. Esparza was an even bigger underdog when she took out Namajunas, and she's ready to do it again. One fighter who knows how to deal with Zhang is Rose Namajunas, who has already beaten her twice, and when asked for her prediction of UFC 281, she said that Zhang should walk away with the belt. She thinks that the Chinese won't really have much problems because she's on a different level skill-wise. But Namajunas has lost to Esparza twice before. While Namajunas thinks that the first fight was an anomaly, Esparza did come out on top. At that event, she also met her future husband, Matthew Lamello, who Esparza married just a week after her most recent victory over Namajunas. Only good things seem to happen when she fights Rose. Next, putting in the hours. Be afraid, Esparza, be very afraid. Weili Zhang is a woman on a mission, and she has been putting in the hours to get herself fight ready. Right now, she's still in Thailand, training at one of the best MMA gyms in Asia. Fighters like Alexander Volkanovski and Jiri Prochazka are just some of the big names to come through Bang Tao Muay Thai and MMA gym in Phuket. And Zhang is the most recent. The head coach there, George Hickman, has said that Zhang is a machine during training. She's disciplined, always learning, and goes the extra mile. Zhang made history in 2019 when she became the first Chinese UFC champion in history. She managed to fend off Jedrzejczyk for 5 rounds to keep the belt, but Rose Namajunas proved to be a challenge too much, and with only 3 losses in her professional MMA career, all of the signs point to Zhang reclaiming the title. However, she is not taking anything for granted. She has described Esparza as a respectable rival and even said that her career gives her inspiration. She promised fans that she will go into the octagon with the aim of dominating the show and that she has corrected the mistakes she made against Namajunas. Since 2014, the women's strawweight title has bounced around between Esparza, Jedrzejczyk, Namajunas, and Zhang. The only fighter to interrupt the Big Four was Jessica Andrade when she upset Namajunas at UFC 237, but where will the belt go next? Another fighter with connections to the Bang Tao Muay Thai gym is middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. At UFC 281, his kickboxing past is coming back to haunt him when he takes on Alex Pereira. The two have met twice before in kickboxing, where Pereira bested the style bender both times. Sure, that was 5 years ago, but their second fight ended with a vicious knockout. That's why the number 2 contender Martin Vettori thinks that Izzy's time as champion is coming to an end. Vettori, who lost to Adesanya last year, said that he's sick of the antics of the champion. He thinks that Alex Pereira follows up his trash talking by walking the walk. Pereira has only had 3 fights in the UFC so far, but has already made a big impact. None of his opponents have had an answer to his deadly striking, and his latest fight against Sean Strickland ended with another brutal left hook from Pereira. Adesanya will have to do some serious work to beat his old rival. The good news for him is that he knows Pereira's strengths firsthand, and the good news for fans is there's not much chance of a boring fight like we saw in Adesanya's last title defense against Jared Cannonier. Izzy will have to be on his toes to avoid getting knocked out for a second time. Who do you think will win between Carla Esparza and Weili Zhang, and will Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya's reign as champion? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.